Hi, and welcome to the ArtsyFartzy Club. My name is Mrs. Johnson, and I'm so happy that you're here with me today. We are on one of our recorded lessons, and the inspiration for today's lesson is the story Maddie's Fridge. And food insecurity is a very real thing in our country, and I used to teach at a really low economic school that was at 95% plus free and reduced lunch students. So I kind of hesitated for a moment to do this lesson because I thought, well, would this make my students feel bad? And for a second, I felt like maybe it would some, and they would take a moment and feel bad for themselves. But then I thought that the real purpose of this story is friendship and talking about our problems. And it's okay to keep friends' secrets, but it's not okay to keep a secret that's going to hurt somebody. So when someone's going hungry, that's not a secret that we want to keep. We have services around. There are friends around. There are churches and social groups and the government. Just there are programs that people want to help people that are hungry. There's no reason anybody should be hungry in our country. And yet we have students that go home and there is nothing in their fridge. And, we had this program where we would send home a brown paper bag with kids over the weekend so that we knew that they had snacks and some healthy snack options when they went home for the weekend, so they wouldn't go hungry, because at least we knew when they came to school, they got a free breakfast and a free lunch. But all weekend long, a lot of times kids would get kind of upset on Fridays, and because they didn't want to go home to their home life, they just felt like they didn't have. So I think it is an important issue to talk, whether you're on the haves or the have-not side of this conversation. And I want you to see the story and see what you think. But we're going to create fridges. This is my retro fridge, and this is just part of the practice drawing, and we're going to add on to this. But I'm going to tell you all about that and how we can make extension projects for this lesson. There are social studies projects we can do, health and nutrition, so science topics we can talk about. And let's get into the video. So you tell me what you think on the opposite side. So as you guys know, we're going to go into the video, and I'll catch you on the flip side.
Welcome to Storyline Online, brought to you by the SAG-AFTRA Foundation. I'm Jennifer Garner, and today I'm going to read Maddie's Fridge, written by Lois Brandt and illustrated by Vin Vogel. When Sophia and Maddie played at the park, they stretched their toes to the sky. They climbed to the top of the ladder and flew off the end of the slide. They stayed until the buildings grew long shadows, and even the taxis stopped honking. "Let's play on the climbing wall," Maddie said. "No way," Sophia said. "I can't reach." "Yes way." Maddie scooted up to the top of the wall. "Your turn." Sophia put a foot on the bottom rock, grabbed with one hand, and stretched, but she couldn't reach the next hold. Sophia's stomach growled. "I give up. Let's get a snack." "No way," Maddie said. "Let's stay here." "Yes way." Sophia ran to Maddie's building and raced up the stairs. "Wait!" Maddie ran after her. Maddie was the best climber, but Sophia was the fastest runner. Sophia swung open the door of Maddie's fridge. "What have you got?" "We have milk," Maddie said. "I'm saving it for Ryan. He's still little." "Why doesn't your mom go to the store?" Sophia asked. "We don't have enough money." "But what if you get hungry?" "We have some bread," Maddie said. I guess I'll go home to eat, Sophia said. Please don't tell anyone, Maddie said. Okay. Promise? I promise. Sophia ran home past the bookstore and grocery store. The sun went down behind the buildings and took all the colors with it. Good timing, Mom said. Dinner's almost ready. Lois was wrestling on the floor with Pepito. Sophia opened the refrigerator door. Pepito peeked inside. Sophia's fridge was full of milk and eggs and tortillas and cheese and lettuce and jam and salsa and tofu and even half a can of dog food. Here you go, Mom said. Sophia and Lois each had a plate of fish and rice. Mom had a plate of fish and rice. Even Pepito had his bowl of dog food with a little bit of fish and rice. Maddie and Ryan only had some bread and a small carton of milk. Sophia couldn't tell Mom. She had to keep her promise to Maddie. Not fish again, Lois said. I want cheesy pizza bombs. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Fish is a good source of protein. Is fish good for kids? Sophia asked. Yes, Mom smiled. Fish is perfect for kids. That night, Sophia had an idea. Yuck! Maddie said the next day. Oh, Sophia said, double yuck. Fish may be good for kids, but fish is not good for backpacks. After school, Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia got there first, but Maddie scrambled past her to the top of the wall. Sophia stretched and stretched. Keep trying, Maddie said. You'll get it. I can't. Sophia jumped down. It's too high. That night, Sophia, Lois, and Mom ate frittata. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of frittata. Maddie and Ryan still had an empty refrigerator. Sophia couldn't ask for help. That would break her promise. She had to try again. Are eggs good for kids? Sophia asked. Not as good as cheesy pizza bombs, Lois said. Cheesy pizza bombs are a treat, Mom said. Eggs are good for you. After dinner, Sophia packed eggs for Maddie and Ryan. Yuck! Maddie said. Double yuck, Sophia said. Eggs may be good for kids, but eggs are not good for backpacks. Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won again, but Maddie shot past her to the top of the wall. Sophia grabbed one hold, reached for the next, and came down with a thump. That happens sometimes, Maddie called. This is impossible, Sophia said. Keep trying, Maddie said. You'll get it. That night, Sophia, Lois, and Mom had burritos. Pepito had his dog food with a little bit of burrito and no salsa. Maddie and Ryan still had an empty fridge. Sophia wished she hadn't promised Maddie. Are burritos good for kids? Sophia asked. Burritos are very good for you, Mom said. Not as good as, Lois started to say. You should pay attention to nutrition like your sister, Mom said. The next morning, Sophia put 2 burritos in her backpack, along with tortillas, beans, cheese, and even some milk. No thanks, Maddie said. You haven't even looked, Sophia said. Is it fish? Maddie asked. No. Is it eggs? No. Is it gross? I don't know, Sophia said. Maddie shook the backpack. Something sloshed. Let's look together, Maddie said. 1, 2, 3, go! Burritos are good for kids and good for backpacks too. Do you want some milk? Sophia asked. Thanks, Maddie said, but I'll save the milk for Ryan. Sophia and Maddie raced to the climbing wall. Sophia won as usual and tried to climb. You can do it, Maddie said. Take my hand. Woohoo! I made it to the top, Sophia shouted. We're the tallest kids in the park, Maddie said. Thanks for helping me, Maddie. I couldn't do it alone. Maddie shrugged. That's what friends are for. After they finished playing, Sophia walked home past the bookstore and the grocery store. She thought and thought and thought. Her own fridge was full of milk and juice and chicken and yogurt and bread and carrots and even half a can of dog food. Maddie's fridge only had 2 tortillas and a cup of beans and a bit of cheese and a little more milk than before. Sophia didn't want to break her promise, but she couldn't help Maddie alone. Sophia told. She hoped Maddie wouldn't be mad. I'm glad you told me, Mom said. Let's see what we can do together. They loaded grocery bags with milk, flour, chicken, carrots, sugar, oil, and even frozen meat and vegetables. Louis pulled his package of cheesy pizza bombs out of the freezer. He thought and thought and thought some more. Then he put his cheesy pizza bombs in Maddie and Ryan's bag. For a treat, he said. At Maddie's apartment, the moms talked. Louis and Ryan played. Sophia and Maddie ran to the park. You broke your promise, Maddie said. I'm sorry, Sophia said. Are you mad? A promise is important, Maddie said. You're more important, Sophia said. I wanted you to have milk too. Maddie smiled. Are we still friends? Sophia asked. Always, Maddie said. Double always, Sophia said. Cheesy pizza bombs, Louis yelled. Our moms made cheesy pizza bombs for a treat. Sophia and Maddie raced up the stairs. Sophia slowed down so they could run together. That's what friends are for. Did you like Maddie's fridge? I love this book, and I'm going to tell you why. Because there are so many wonderful programs out there where you can put food into backpacks for children to take home from school to help feed their families at night. And what feels better than knowing that you are helping another kid just like you and just like your family? Because we all need a little help sometimes. I love that Sophia is the one who needed help getting up the wall and that Maddie just calmly and sweetly helped her friend. Maddie is the one who needed a little bit of help having extra food in the fridge. And Sophia was the friend who could help her out. We can always find ways to help each other. That's why I love this book. Thank you for watching Storyline Online. Make sure to check out all of our stories. Keep watching and keep reading.
welcome back. What did you guys think? I think that Jennifer Garner is the perfect person to read that story. She has such a sweet demeanor and voice, and that is just what that story needs. It is a very sweet story, and I hope that you understand now why I wanted us to have that as our inspiration for our book today. So let's get into it. And then I have some resources for you. So hold on. Okay, clickety click, click. And we're here with our 9x12. I have a couple pencils, an eraser, a ruler. You will find that useful today. Optional is Sharpie, watercolors, other colored pencils, and I even have some metallic pencils. And we'll talk about how you can choose to use or not use these objects. Oh, and a pair of scissors. All right. So I'm going to take my 9x12 and I'm putting it horizontal. Now you could do this project bigger. You would just use a larger sheet, and we are going to fold our paper in book. Okay, folding it half this way like a book. And I'm actually going to just trim the top so it kind of looks like an old-fashioned fridge. And honestly, if you don't want to do this step, that's fine. You can have it be just a rectangle fridge. But I'm going to go ahead and put my thumb in the little hole, my fingers in the big hole. My thumb is pointed straight up at the ceiling. And I'm going maybe about an inch to 3/4 of an inch down on the side and just curving off the edge. And I'm going to rotate it and do the same on the other side. So I'm just trying to cut equal on each side. And if it's not perfect, it's okay. I don't think people are going to really care. All right, now I'm going to turn, this part is important. I'm going to turn my book over the wrong way so that the fold is on the right side and my book opens to the left. And we're going to measure down. And we know that when we use a ruler, we start at where the first line is, not at the end of the ruler. So I'm going to line that up at the edge of the paper, and I am going to make a mark at the 3-inch line. So the longest line here, 1, 2, 3. And now some of you I know are teachers, but some of you are students. So I just go through all the steps, excuse me, like I would with my students. And then you guys take it away and do what you will with it if you are a teacher. Okay, I am drawing a line. I'm going to go up a tiny bit and draw another line above it. Go down a tiny bit and draw another line below it. And the reason I'm doing that, I'm going to cut on that first line, and that's going to be my metal band on my old-fashioned fridge that kind of lines that edge. They would have a cool little metal thing. So once again, my thumb is in the little hole, my finger is in the big hole, and my thumb is pointed straight up at the ceiling. And I'm going to do some slow alligator chomps. And what I never do is I don't ever close my scissors all the way because I don't want to have a jagged edge. If I close my scissors all the way, then I have to restart. So I just close most of the way, then feed my alligator. So I'm pushing that paper back into his mouth as much as I can. And I'm cutting, cutting, cutting. What's super important, guys, I'm only cutting my top layer. Okay, I didn't cut the back side, just the top side. And what this allows me to do is to open my fridge and open my freezer separate. Okay, then I'm going to do the handles, and I am going to draw half an oval. It's kind of long. It's not really a half a circle. there, and I'm going to do a matching one. I want them to line up. I want them to be about the same size. Now I'm freehanding this. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I do want them similar. Okay, then I'm going to put the handle part on. So it's kind of like a long, skinny triangle with a rounded end. And then because this part's overlapping the back part, I erase. And I'm going to do it again. Triangle shape and rounded at the end. And it's overlapping, so I erased it. Okay, there's my handles, and that's it. Now I could write Frigidaire or whatever brand I want my fridge to be, but I'm going to call it good. Okay, and then I have my fridge that opens up, and I'm going to divide this into 4 spaces. Now my spaces are not always the same length. So I'm going to make my bottom space, let's say we'll make this one 2 inches. So I'm going to, because it's 9 inches long, so I'm going to go, Mrs. Johnson, line it up right, lady. Okay. Now, when I first did this project, I accidentally grabbed a metric ruler and I didn't have inches. That's why I'm not exactly sure how I would measure it, because I know what I did in centimeters, not in inches. Okay, and I draw a line across. And then I'm just going to give it a little bit of space. Okay, and then I'm going to draw another one. So let's say, let's make this one a little bit longer. So I'm going to make it 1, 2, could do 3 inches or 2.5. We're going to go for 3. This is where I can have my milk. It's a little bit bigger of a shelf. Space for some big things here. Okay, and then you can go above or below just a little bit to give it some dimension, that it has a lip on it. And no, they're not the same size. I could redo it and make sure that they're the same size. But that's, I don't know. It's a little too anal retentive for elementary school for me, but that's up to you guys. Okay, and then I'll make these 2 inches. Boopity boop. And give it a little space. Ta-da. Now I can make this bottom area, I could divide it into 2 sections. So it's like a produce drawer. And so it's 6 inches. So let's say 3 is in the middle. So I'll go boopity boop, boopity boop. So a millimeter bigger than 3 inches and a millimeter smaller than 3 inches. Just make your line vertical. Bam. Okay. And you'll see my other example, I did it a little bit different, and that's okay. All right. So then I could write fruit, vegetables, you know, I could make a little line for the drawer thing. So you can see the pole, you know, whatever you want to do. Okay. Now that being said, to expand on this lesson, we can do some things. We can do cross-curricular activities. And if you are in a school that you need to incorporate cross-curricular, I mean, I don't want to say need to. Some schools you do need to. But I think that we all should, because we should all be bolstering each other's programs anyway. I mean, you should be doing the arts in maths and sciences and social studies. And we also have the opportunity to include the world into our art program. So that being said, I'm going to screen share with you guys a couple of resources. But so if I was at an affluent school and I wanted to make an extension program, especially going into the soon holiday season, I would maybe go a social aspect of it and incorporate this into like a service learning project where we collected foods that we wanted to put in Maddie's fridge. So then we could talk about things that could go into the fridge versus things that can go into our donations. So things that could go in a fridge, like lettuce and apples and stuff, aren't going to be able to go in our donation box, but we could put in applesauce and we can put in canned vegetables. And so we can talk about those differences, how we make things that are non-perishable through manufacturing, and that allows us to donate them to other people more easily. Now, if you are at a low income school, we could start going into the like higher order thinking of it as to what would we want to give Maddie. And these children can start to fantasize about what foods that they wish they had in their fridges or that they would want to give to their friend, right? And so we're not trying to make anybody feel bad, but then we're also going to talk about social services of how they could get more food into their fridges. And I really want to show you this resource here. So Storyline Online, share screen, gives a resource of the USDA recommendations of what to eat, but I think that that's not really age appropriate. So I went over to Sesame Street and they have this awesome area that talks about eating well. And let me see, are you seeing this? Yes, you are. Good. Okay. So, so it's got this little video about Cookie Monster learning how to eat well. And then, but what I really, really liked was this section about like how we can shop more wisely. Okay, so eating well on a budget, using our leftovers, feeding the family on a budget, healthy choices at fast food restaurants. I know fast food's getting more expensive now. It's kind of crazy. But a lot of families just do fast food options because the parents are working 2 jobs and they're working like dogs. And the idea of cooking a meal is just too much. So they'll go with the fast food option. So teaching children different choices. And then they also have Spanish references and all sorts of good food, age appropriate content for you to refer to. So this website, I just looked up Sesame Street and it's sesamestreetworkshop.org. Topics eating well. So just look up Sesame Street eating well, and you'll be able to find this resource that I think is perfect for you guys to share with your students. Okay, so that being said, now I would just have the students start working on this side of their work. So, okay, I'm going to put in boop, 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 boop. I really should be looking at an object. Maybe you can even have some pictures of objects up, but we're going to wing it. I'm imagining, why is it I don't actually know what a jug of my kids eat? I have four kids. So I have 4 containers of, oh, you can see my junk in the back. Yikes. I don't like that. That's my donation pile. Don't look. Well, most of it is. You might have caught Percy back there. Oh my goodness. The horror. You saw the junk stuff. Okay. So they make a milk jug or a juice jug and other things. You know, this is like the tall area. And like I said, this could be the fruit area. And so, oh, I'm going to have some oranges here. And, you know, you can just teach them about overlapping. So these oranges are close and these oranges are farther away and you can't see them very well because the other ones are closer. Okay. So that being said, now I'm going to open up this fridge, and I kind of made a little more progress. So for kids that are fast drawers, they can do the extension project of drawing on the inside of their fridge. And I would just kind of give them this option of like having something up that they can see. And then, you know, telling them, okay, well, maybe if you do incorporate the science aspect of it, you need to show me all of the food groups. I need to see lots of vegetables and fruits and a little bit of grains and a little bit of protein, like your plate should be, or however you want to do it. Okay. And I want to see dairy. Where is dairy? Okay. I've got a cheese here. And then say, oh, you can have one special treat in your fridge. So maybe I'm going to, just like Lois, I think it was, her brother, boop, boop. Instead of cheesy bombs, I'm going to have a tub of ice cream in my freezer. Okay, so let's pretend that I'm 100% done. And I'm going to go to town. Oh, Mrs. Johnson. So aggressive today. Okay. Where's my rag? Hey, rag. Yikes. I did not. I closed my watercolor and it leaked. Sad face. Okay. So I would, if I was teaching this, and I am right now, and I am, why does it look like that? Okay. Oh, this is Jonathan. Okay. I would activate my watercolor paint, mirror watercolors. So the important word about watercolors, I always tell my students, is water. And so I drip drop some water into my paint well, and I activate that. Now that's going to be a very strong blue, and I don't want it to be that strong in my project. So I'm going to get my brush really wet. And the reason I'm doing this, I can fill big areas fast, right? And I'm going to come back in with my colored pencils and work on the details later. Okay. So just a really light blue. You could do gray. That's another option. And I just go. These are that's my frozen corn package. Okay. And so the area in between the shelves is white. So I don't paint that. My fridge is white. Now, I suppose you could let your kids make a colored fridge, but I think it's more about the food than it is about the fridge. Okay. Almost. All right. Okay, nice watery. I keep getting water on my brush and then dipping it onto the edge of my paint. And when I'm done, if I still have blue there, I would wash it off. I would get a little bit of wet paper towel and wash it off. And I literally would do that. There was somebody in charge of washing off the palettes every class time for their table. And I'm just going fast. Yes, your students will take more time than me, but I want to get to the other stuff. I want to show you some coloring in and how our fridge can look. All right, almost done. I don't know if you see, like, really talking about that layering, like some of these carrots are in front of the other carrot. And I know some of them look like they're just floating in the air. It's way more fun that way, to be honest. You want to see the fruits and vegetables. So, I mean, do you want to die on that cross of telling your kids that they have to be foreshortened and realistic? Or do you want it to be more fun for them to draw, to see all their fruits and veggies? I'd rather it be fun. I want to see the vegetables. I don't want to see the side of a bunch of nonsense that I don't really care about. Okay. So getting in between things. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to come in with my favorite colored pencil of choice. And you guys, if you've watched me before, you should know what that is. My favorite colored pencils of choice are Prismacolor. I like Prismacolors because they show up on everything. Now, the top area has dried enough. The bottom area, probably not. If you need to, you can always blot it with a paper towel or use a hair dryer. I would encourage your students not to get it too watery so that, you know, we all can move on with our art and coloring. So I told you guys that I worked at a really low economic school, which I did for, well, this is the really bad one. I was there for 6 years. And it was challenging and yet really rewarding. Anybody that thinks that they want to do it, go for it. It takes a special person to stay at a really challenging school because it can be very emotionally and physically draining. But the kids that appreciated you being there, way more than the affluent children ever did, in my experience. You know, I'm not going to hate on people that teach at affluent school, and that's cool too. And it's got its own benefits. You know, you get more materials, you get to experiment with, you know, your products more. What you make. Because I find that, you know, the students at a more affluent school have had more opportunity to color and draw at home. So they're kind of starting out ahead. But man, I got excited when I had a student that, like, I knew that they had something. And I was like, hey, did you know that this can be a career for you? Like, you can go be a graphic designer, go be a marketer, go, you know, raise yourself up. Let's do this. And they were just like, what? I can do art as a job? Yes, you can, sir. Let's make magic happen for you. You've got a gift. Let's make it work for you. Okay. So yeah, I would literally boop-a-doop. That makes sense. Like, now I'm coming in and I'm really taking the time to draw in details. So the background was just watercolor sketch fast, The sketching part that's all it is. It's a sketch. These pencil drawings are just a sketch. Then you come in and the colored pencil is going to be where the magic happens. And I could sit here for half an hour and draw these tiny circles for the corn. And I really want to, actually. I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I might clip it out because I'm like obsessed here. Okay. Okay, so there we go. You kind of get the idea. I have to run. It's one of those days I need to go and get my daughter from school, and the little man is like ready to jet. So I'm not going to finish coloring this all in, but you get the idea that they would sit there and finish coloring all of the pieces in. That being said, I hope that you find this an interesting project, and I hope it inspires you to look into Maddie's fridge and check that out. So, boop, that's what they have going on in their fridge. Boop, that's what they have going on in their freezer. You could do a writing extension about, why they chose what they did for health-wise, or how they wish that they could help a friend. I mean, the possibilities are endless. And as always, your imagination is your only limitation. So please let me know if this inspires you to do something similar in your classroom. I'd love to hear from you guys. I just had a person let me know that they were doing our magical, hey guys, let's get bigger. Our magical chalk prints that I did last Saturday in one of their art projects. And that makes me feel so good inside. I'm so glad that I inspired you to do something. Thanks for letting me know. And if no one's told you today, I absolutely love you. My name is Mrs. Johnson. And until we meet each other again, I hope that you are absolutely artastic. Have a great week, guys.